Today is the last day to register to vote in Ohio, and one organization is making sure Kent State students are signed up in time for this election season.
See how countries across the world are commemorating the one-year anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel.
Colleges and universities are preparing for protests and vigils for October 7th, how they are prepping, and what to expect on campuses around the nation.
The Department of Justice report from the January 6th riot on the Capitol is in the process of its release. Find out when it will come out as Kent Stater TV starts right now.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Kent Stater TV. I'm Josh Ponte.
And I'm Anthony Leonardi.
Election season seems to be in full swing, and November 5th is rapidly approaching.
Kent Stater's own Michael Neenan is here to tell you what organizations are making sure you are registered to vote. Hi, Michael.
Hi guys, today is the last day to register to vote in Ohio, and an organization in Kent is making sure students are able to vote this election season. Every year at the beginning of October is the last day to register for elections. The League of Women Voters of Kent spent the afternoon by an airstream getting students of all backgrounds to register to vote before the deadline.
One of the reasons young folks aren't registered at the rate that they should be is because they have this misconception that it takes a long time or it's a difficult procedure, but it's very easy, very simple. We can get you in and out in 3 minutes.
To register, eligible voters fill out a form using their address, state-issued ID, and social security number.
And voting is the core of our democracy. So if you look at what the Airstream behind me has on the front, your voice, your power, your vote, that's how we express ourselves in this country. We have the right to vote.
Because this is the last possible day to vote, the League of Women Voters of Kent will be sending the forms to the Portage County Board of Elections at the end of the day. The League of Women Voters of Kent set up a table in the library as well for registering students.
I think it's really important for students especially to register to vote because as young people there are a lot of things that are happening in our world these days that impact us, and it's just important to use our voices and work within the system that we have to create the change that we want to see.
The table at the main hall of the library is registering voters tonight until 9 p.m. Reporting for Kstv News, I'm Michael Neenan.
Thank you, Michael.
Sticking to more local news, we'll go to our correspondent, Trinity Chapman. Hi, Trinity.
Good evening, guys, and good evening to everyone tuning in tonight. I'm Trinity Chapman, here to update you on some local stories on and off campus. Starting off with the ongoing visit of two acclaimed artists here at Kent State University, Nana Koisiagari and Giorgio Sambino III will be presenting their expositions at the Umbaji Art Gallery in Oscar Ritchie Hall. Students and visitors are encouraged to stop in and examine vibrant multidisciplinary artwork. The expositions are still available to visit until October 30th. Kent residents were left without power around midday Saturday. Over 3,000 customers were affected by the company First Energy power outage that started out along State Route 59. Businesses surrounding the area were also hit with the outage, including an Acme, retailers, and traffic lights. Although First Energy was unable to state an immediate cause for the outage, an investigation is currently pending. Portage County's Aero Industries went ablaze early in the morning over the weekend. The Brimfield Fire Department, along with 7 other departments, including Kent, helped battle against the flames at Sunnybrook Road at the tarp manufacturer. Although damages were severe, the building remains salvageable. Brimfield Fire Chief Craig Maloli went to Facebook to say that no injuries have been reported. Well, that concludes all the news that I have for you around Kent and Portage County. I've been Trinity Chapman with KSTV News.
Your first forecast on Kent Stater TV.
Well, every day we are losing more and more sunlight. Sunday night was the last day the sun will set after 7 p.m. for the next 5 months.
The length of daylight within Northeast Ohio has been getting shorter since June 20th. Mark your calendars for November 3rd when the clocks will fall back, which means for longer winter nights. Now we'll take it over to Sophia Sanato in weather. And Sophia, I love all the pink that we have going on today.
Yes, guys, I love the pink too. I'm so excited to be wearing pink with everyone today in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, especially because I wear pink for my grandmother, Pauline Safera, who is a breast cancer survivor and cheers me on every single day. I love you, Grandma. Thank you for always being a ray of sunshine in my life, just like the sun that we've had today in Kent. Folks, I mean, today doesn't get much better. We've had a beautiful fall day today. It's currently 59 degrees and it feels like 58. That wind that we've got going on is making it a little bit cooler, especially as the sun starts to go down. It is mostly cloudy, but if you've been out on campus like me, you know we've had some really great patches of sun. That wind is going southeast at 7 miles per hour currently, and our moon phase is a waxing crescent as we are gearing up for that full moon on Wednesday, October 17th. Moving into my forecast for tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 65 degrees. We'll have some clouds in the morning, but by the afternoon, we're going to have some great patches of sun. And it's going to be windy yet again. That wind is going to be west-northwest at 11 miles per hour. So make sure to, keep your hair pulled back. Anything that you need to do to not be bothered by that wind. I know it can be pretty windy on campus. As well as with the sun, the UV index is going to be 5 out of 11. So don't be fooled by the sun rays that you'll have on you. You won't need too high of an SPF when you're walking around. And then my on-campus forecast for tomorrow, 42 degrees at 8 a.m. It's going to be mostly cloudy and there's going to be likely some dew. We have some really high humidity overnight, so make sure to have your windshield wipers going in the morning. By noon, we're going to jump up to 60 degrees and we're going to have some great patches of sun, but that's where this wind really starts to pick up. And by 4 p.m., it's more or less the same. We only jump about 2 more degrees and that wind will continue. And that's where my report ends for now. When we come back, we'll take a look at temperatures across the state of Ohio, as well as give you my outlook for the week. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you so much, Sophia. The Cleveland Police Department is investigating a shooting that happened in front of a Dairy Mart last night. The shooting took place on the West 89th Street and Detroit Avenue. Bullet holes were seen on the car that was parked in front of the Dairy Mart, and police tape blocked the scene. One man was sent to the hospital and his condition is unknown, and the investigation is still ongoing.
And the Solon police are asking the public to keep an eye out for a 58-year-old man named Ryan Maurice Burton, who has gone missing. He was last seen at the Homewood Suites in Solon and was in Northeast Ohio on a work trip. Ryan is from Connecticut and he is diabetic. According to the latest report, he last spoke to his wife over the phone around 10:30 on Saturday night and was complaining about chest pains. Anyone with information on this man should contact the Solon Police at 440-248-1234.
Jimmy Buffett's legacy is set to live on through his bandmates. Buffett will be honored with an award for musical achievement at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The award ceremony will feature a performance by former members of Buffett's Coral Reefer Band. The performance will also feature James Taylor and Kenny Chesney. The ceremonies will be October 19th at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in downtown Cleveland.
The Cleveland Planning Commission gave the green light for a new Riverside Performance Center. This $3.5 billion project would be called the Cleveland Clinic Global Peak Performance Center, and it is expected that the facility will host the Cavaliers practices, which will bring the Cavs back to practice downtown. This proposal is the first building project in a 20-year plan to redevelop Cleveland's riverfront land.
Singer R. Kelly appeals in court that he was wrongfully convicted. We'll tell you the court's ruling and if he will spend more time in prison.
Hotel workers are striking in Boston. Find out about these 2 Hilton locations and what it means for those involved.
At Kent State University, we want all students to develop a global perspective. And with more than 200 study abroad programs in 60 countries, there are many opportunities. One is found in the Central African country of Rwanda, where students connect with survivors of the 1994 genocide.
We're learning about the reconciliation process. Rwanda sort of took a very community-based approach to how they recovered.
In January, a group of Kent State student athletes traveled to Rwanda, where they organized a soccer camp for children.
While we were there, we got to work with kids and spread our knowledge about sports.
And we brought shoes, cleats, soccer balls for everybody.
It was a transformational experience.
The people of Rwanda were full of joy. They were also full of excitement and life.
I think the big thing that I'm going to take home personally from the experience is perspective. There's not just one way to do things.
This was unlike any other academic experience I've ever had.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Well, now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Your community.
Your stories.
Good evening, Kent State and Portage County. I'm Lexi Blatnick. We come to you with coverage on the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attacks. Today marks the one-year anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel. Tel Aviv, Berlin, London, and Paris held vigils for victims on Sunday. Protesters against the war in the Middle East are rallying against the humanitarian crisis taking place in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says that the attacks over the year has taken the lives of 41,000 Gazans. Israeli President Isaac Herzog attended a memorial outside the Nova Music Festival earlier today. This is the site where the Hamas military killed 347 people and took 40 others hostage last year. This memorial is one of many to mark the one-year anniversary of the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. College campuses are also gathering to commemorate the one-year anniversary of this conflict. In anticipation of protests, Columbia University is increasing campus security. Columbia University students held demonstrations over the spring semester last year. Students who support Palestine are calling for a ceasefire in their university to divest money in Israel. Pro-Israel students are expected to show their support for the country. Kent State University's Jewish Life Center, Hillel, held activities to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the October 7th attack, today starting at 2 p.m. The activities start with an interactive art exhibit on the K. At 4 p.m., doors to the Kiva open for a vigil. The vigil begins at 5 p.m. and is open to all students. For more international news updates, tune into KentWire.com. For KSTV, I've been Lexi Blatnick, sending it over to Josh and Anthony at the news desk.
Keeping you informed and ahead of the storm, this is your KSTV weather.
Thank you, Lexi. Just hours ago, Hurricane Milton reached a Category 5 strength as it approaches the west coast of Florida.
The storm is expected to make landfall Wednesday or early Thursday. CNN's Lee Waldman has more.
Days ahead of Hurricane Milton's expected landfall, Floridians are preparing. Long lines of cars waiting to fill up sandbags along the western coast. Officials are urging people to finalize their preparations now and get out of the path of this storm.
You have time to execute your plan, but you got to do it now. There have been some evacuations that have been issued. There's going to be a flurry of them today. I know the counties are working on opening shelters.
You cannot wait and see. You have been told what's going to happen.
The storm is projected to make landfall as a Category 3 near the Tampa area late Wednesday or early Thursday, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Officials are warning about the threat of storm surge, rain, and flash flooding. A state of emergency has been declared in 51 of the 67 counties in Florida.
Please,
If you're in the Tampa Bay area, you need to evacuate. If they have called for your evacuation order, I beg you, I implore you to evacuate. Drowning deaths due to storm surge are 100% preventable if you leave.
10 days removed from Hurricane Helene's devastation, debris from that storm still lingers, prompting Florida's governor to deploy the National Guard to help assist with debris removal that could cause more damage from Milton's forecasted winds.
That creates a huge hazard if you have a major hurricane hit in that area this week.
I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
For more on weather, we'll take it to Sophia Sonato.
How's it looking out there, Sophia?
It's looking much better out here, guys. I will say I'm thinking everybody in Florida, and I hope everyone is staying safe. Currently in the state of Ohio, we are dealing with much better temperatures and overall weather as a whole. Starting from left to right, Cincinnati is currently sitting at 70 degrees. Toledo is at 66, as well as Columbus. Athens, a little bit warmer, is at 68 degrees. The Akron-Canton area is looking at 59 degrees, and Pittsburgh is currently looking at 60 flat. Zooming in to the northeastern part of Ohio, going from right to left this time, Ashtabula is at 57 degrees. Cleveland is at 60. Sandusky and Mansfield are both sitting at 64 degrees. Worcester is at 61. Kent is sitting at 56 degrees. And Y-Town, my town, is sitting at 59 degrees currently. Going into my weekly outlook, tomorrow, as I had mentioned earlier, is going to be a high of 65 degrees and a low of 44. It's going to have some clouds in the morning, but the sun will peek throughout the rest of the afternoon. On Wednesday, we'll have more sun and more wind, more or less the same, with a high of 64 degrees and a low of 40. By Thursday, we jump down in temperatures just a little bit. Even less wind, though. It'll be about a 5 to 10 mile per hour range in comparison to the 10 to 15 mile per hour range that we'll look at in the next couple of days. Friday, we're going to jump up in temperatures. It's going to be a high of 72 degrees and a low of 37 with even less wind than we've seen this week. When we jump into the weekend, it's going to be 68 degrees as a high and 50 degrees as a low. The clouds are going to return for the most part, but it'll still be sunny. On Sunday, we'll have a high of 69 degrees and a low of 43. We'll have some clouds in the afternoon and a chance of rain in the afternoon. And on Monday, in that same vein, we have a chance of rain in the morning, but sun in the afternoon with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 37. And with that, my report ends here. For more updates on that precipitation for Sunday and Monday, as well as your full weather forecast, you can tune in right back here with us at KSTV. Reporting from the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Sophia Sonato.
Thank you so much, Sophia. The Justice Department's report on the agency's handling of the January 6th attack on the Capitol likely won't be released until after the election. The department's Inspector General Michael Horowitz said that there is a draft of the report. However, he doubts it will be released in time for the November election. He also said a final version will have to go through a potentially lengthy classification review.
The Supreme Court has declined to hear R. Kelly's appeal without explaining its reasoning. For those of you who might not know, R. Kelly is in prison after being convicted of federal sex crimes. Kelly believes that he was wrongfully prosecuted under a federal law that was passed in 2003, which made statute of limitations indefinite for sex crimes involving minors.
Hundreds of hotel workers picketed outside two Boston Hiltons. Room attendants, front desk agents, bellhops, cooks, door persons, cashiers, dishwashers, and banquet staff are calling for a better contract. The Hotel Workers Union says they will strike and picket outside hotel entrances 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until a deal is reached. The union has been negotiating a new contract since April.
Self-driving wheelchairs are being introduced at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The new technology introduced by Alaskan Airlines currently works with the airport's existing wheelchair service and is being tested until mid-December. The wheelchairs are programmed with routes that the user can select on a touchscreen, and security will be very similar to the traditional wheelchair security precautions.
Whole Foods is backtracking after changing the recipe to its berry chantilly cake. Fans of the dessert have been up in arms online over the past few weeks after trying the new version. A TikTok user made a video trying the new cake and said it tastes like a raspberry jam flavored cleaning product. Does not sound very good. Whole Foods noticed the backlash and they announced they would change the cake back to its original version. And the kid from Akron makes NBA history yet again, this time while sharing the court with his son. We'll tell you what LeBron James and Bronny James did yesterday to make history.
The collaboration between Kent State and the Cleveland Museum of Natural History is a long-standing one.
Dr. Aaron's experimental lab is really state-of-the-art. It's known internationally.
We can recreate any artifact from the last 3 million years, and the Cleveland Museum of Natural History has pretty much any tool that ancient people use. So we send our students up here to study those examples so they can figure out how to recreate them. And the collaboration led to incredible discoveries right here in Ohio. And it's a dream come true.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
LeBron James made history again yesterday, this time with his son Bronny. During the Lakers' preseason game against the Phoenix Suns, LeBron and Bronny became the first father-son duo to play in the same game in NBA history. They only shared the court for around 4 minutes, but it was enough to throw the NBA world into a frenzy.
LeBron showed no signs of slowing down going into his 22nd season in the league. He had 19 points, while Bronny did struggle offensively. He grabbed 2 rebounds in 13 minutes of game time. You know, I think the ceiling for Bronny might be just a little low right now. He's not quite as good as his dad.
Yeah, I mean, he has very high expectations to live up to, so that's going to be really, really tough. But I'm excited to see how Bronny does. What do you think, Maddox?
I think it's a very exciting time for both LeBron and Bronny James, but, you know, this longevity is something that we've never seen before, especially to produce at such a level. It's honestly very impressive. We've seen guys have long careers like Vince Carter and such, but to be playing at an all-star level is something that we truly have never seen before. And to be able to share the court with your son is also, like you said, we've never seen this before. And so I think, yes, Bronny may have his struggles to develop into the NBA, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. And playoff baseball in other sports is in full effect, so let's take a look at the action starting with the Golden Flashes. Teeing things off with Kent State men's golf, they began their 4th tournament of the season on Sunday, traveling to Notre Dame to compete in the Fighting Irish Classic. The Golden Flashes currently sit in 9th place of the 15-team field, with senior Jordan Glickeson currently tied for 8th for individual golfers. The team wraps up the tournament today and will be back in action October 14th for the Golden Flash individual. Moving back home, the women's soccer team took on Western Michigan on Saturday. Kent State lost 3-1 to the Broncos, with the lone goal coming from freshman Jules Dolinsky, who scored her first goal of the season. Looking forward, the team will travel to take on the Northern Illinois Huskies on Thursday as they look to get back into the win column. Heading to East Lansing, the Kent State field hockey team faced off against Michigan State yesterday. The Flashes took the shootout victory 4-3 to pick up their 3rd win of the season. Senior Augustina Florio led the Flashes with 1 goal in regulation and the game-winning shootout goal. The Golden Flashes stay on the road as they take on James Madison on Friday. And heading to Cleveland Guardians, the Guardians took on the Tigers in Game 1 of the ALDS, and Jose Ramirez got the scoring started early with a RBI double. This putting Cleveland up 1-0 as they would look to take the Game 1 ALDS. Josh Naylor would keep the line moving with a RBI single of his own to make it a 2-0 Guardians lead, now putting runners on the corners for Cleveland. Tigers trying to get out of this hole down early with no outs, but all aboard the Lane train as Lane Thomas rocks one into the seats, a 3-run blast for Lane Thomas. And we head to the bottom of the 6th, where David Fry would put the offensive cherry on top with a 2 RBI double, making it a 7-0 Guardians lead. Guardians offense and pitching doing it on all fronts, shutting down this hot Tigers team. Speaking of shutting it down, let's see Emmanuel Clase, top of the 9th, Colt Keith the last man standing for Detroit. He'd pop out for the Tigers into left field, and Stephen Kwan would wrap up this 7-0 ALDS Game 1 win for the Guardians. And that's all I have for you tonight. To stay up to date, all things Kent and more, head over to kentwired.com. I've been Maddox Miller, and have a good night, Portage County.
Kent State University's Marcello Fantoni has served on the scientific committee of the Palace of Versailles for the past decade. Through this prestigious position, Fantoni creates worldwide connections, helping Kent State students and faculty realize one-of-a-kind global experiences.
Today, Kent State University is a global university. We have a presence in every single continent of this planet. If we send our Ohio students all over the world and bring their experiences back, we create the conditions in Ohio for a much healthier and stronger development of the entire state. When you come back and you have more tools in your brain, more options for solutions, you are a more talented, a more versatile professional. And this is what the market wants today. The future of higher education is global.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Well, this may be the most hot air balloons I've ever seen in one place. This past Saturday was the annual balloon fiesta in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thousands of people gathered for the international celebration. The weather put a slight delay on the event, but eventually the winds did calm down, and that was the 52nd year of the balloon fiesta. That's crazy, Anthony.
And Victor Ambrose and Gary Ruvkin won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their discovery of microRNA. The study revealed gene regulation by microDNA, which is how genes make different cells in human bodies. This discovery was originally made in 1993, but initially was thought to be irrelevant to humans. The Nobel Prize Committee said that their work is, quote, groundbreaking discovery. Now, we got to address the elephant in the room. The Cleveland Guardians are playing baseball right now.
Yes,
and
they
the
are.
game is tied 0-0 heading into the ninth, thanks to Stephen Kwan,
That
the
amazing
embodiment
catch.
of Cleveland baseball.
Amazing catch. Go watch that game if you're not watching it right now. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all of these stories and more, check out our website at kentwired.com. I'm Anthony Leonardi.
And I'm Josh Aponte. Have a great night, everyone.
Today, the world could use a little more understanding. Understanding nurtured by shared values. We come together at Kent State. Different dreams, different viewpoints, united by purpose. Preparing to make a difference in our divided world. Wherever you are in your life's journey, come learn with us. Begin at Kent State.